Since the 21st century, we've lived in a world where people get dumber each generation. Why is this happening? Simple. Stupid people clap more cheeks. That's why I'll never have kids. I'm too smart. Here's an example. Meet Trevor and Carol. They both have approximately 140 IQ but have 0 babies. Definitely a big brain move. They're successful and intelligent, but they believe it's such an important decision that they must prepare adequately for their trauma and disappointment. Responsibility. Now meet Clevin and Trish. They've got room temperature IQ. They're rednecks living in trash, but they've already got 5 babies. At least they didn't have dreams to start with, so they won't have to watch them disappear. After 5 years, Trevor and Carol still don't have babies, while Clevin has got 3 more from his wife and neighbor. Scandalous. Another 5 years pass. Trevor and Carol still have 0 babies, while Clevin's babies are having babies. And it's all connected, Simba, in the great circle of life. Does it mean we're doomed? Not if Joe Bauers here saves the world. Meet Joe. He's a librarian in the army. Wait, they have those? I've heard the pen is mightier than the sword. Not sure about AK-47s though. Okay, well, he was a librarian. He just got replaced. He got a much more crucial mission to serve. He's just not aware of it yet. For now, he's pretty upset. Losing a job in the army without risking life constantly sounds like a decent job. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. The phrase sums up what he was good at, being out of the way. While his comrade says the phrase should motivate him into doing something, Bowers believes watching minute movies all day at work is better. Amen to that. Turns out that Joe was chosen for a human hibernation experiment. The idea is to save the greatest soldiers sitting on their butts, waiting for a war to come until the war actually comes. I wish I could be hibernated until Half-Life 3 comes out. Wait, you said the greatest soldiers are chosen? What is Bowers doing here? He was selected because he was super average, the most average soldier in the forces. Doubt it. The man is smart enough to work for the army pension without shooting anyone, and convince the army that soldiers can read. He also has no family at all. Perfect organ donor. A perfect candidate for the experiment. The army also found a female candidate, not from the forces, but from the private sector. Rita here has a rather promiscuous profession, the best mysterious experiment material. Officer Collins did a great job dealing with Rita's pimp, Upgrade, who is the closest person in her life. The next day, Joe and Rita get ready for the experiment and meet each other. For some reason, Rita doesn't mention her real job and instead says she's a painter. Well, she could say she's an OnlyFans model instead of a direct lie. Although I guess you could say she likes getting her face painted. So our lovely couple gets in the coffins to begin the experiment. Rita is terrified. Apparently, she's got more to lose than Bowers here. Or maybe she's the smartest one in the room. She says her boyfriend, Upgrade, would be mad. Joe buys it again. Indeed, the smartest. But Joe calms her down, saying everything will be okay. He doesn't realize it yet. And so the project begins. Joe and Rita were intended to sleep for a year, which sounds amazing, but something went wrong. They forgot to set their alarm properly, and Officer Collins got arrested for networking with Upgrade. So the secret of the project was buried in a deep sleep with Rita and Joe. Years and years went by. More and more people subscribed to Mr. Beast, and the whole of humankind became much stupider. The basement where the couple lay turned into a dump. While humankind forgot how to sort garbage, the dump grew bigger until finally collapsing and releasing Joe. He woke up in a room where a guy was watching the Kardashians' Family Season 3239. Where am I? What happened? Joe annoys the dedicated watcher for too long until the guy throws Joe in a window. Joe wanders the streets, trying to understand what year is it. He tried to communicate with people, but the English language downgraded to a level where people were speaking in a blend of Among Us memes and meta-irony. So no one understood what Joe said. Joe hits the hospital to seek a cure. He thinks he's still out of it and hallucinating. He tries to drink some water, but in this new world, regular water is used in the toilet and everyone's drinking Belle Delphine's bathwater. Then he gets diagnosed by an AI. Clever stuff, but you need to put tubes in your butt. While waiting for a human doctor, Joe grabs a magazine. It says the year is 2505. That's an odd mistake, he thinks. Oh, Joe is a denier. The doc comes in, calls Joe lame, and asks thousands of dollars for his services. Exactly how my last date went. Finally, Joe realizes he's in 2505 and goes in shock. The doc sees Joe doesn't have a QR code on his arm and calls the police. He's an outlaw now. Wait, is it 2505 or 2023? Joe returns to the streets where he belongs, getting familiar with the new world he's stuck in. Apparently, the world is in deep crisis. A dust bowl destroyed all food supplies and the economy is so bad. Like if Uncle Joe ruled another presidential term. What's worse, the #1 movie in the country is a Logan Paul documentary. Apparently, it won 8 Oscars. You'll definitely see it next on Minute Movies, so subscribe. Finally, Joe gets arrested while trying to buy food without a QR code. He gets to the court where his lawyer is Frito, the guy who threw him away from his apartment. The prosecutor throws a solid speech that sounded like 6ix9ine's new album, and the lawyer goes against Joe. He's not Saul Goodman material. Meanwhile, Rita's in the street and realizes in this world she can get paid and not actually have to sell her body, like in other jobs, but she still doesn't understand what year it is. Joe gets compelled to make a QR code. The machine writes his name as not sure. I would love to tattoo this on my arm and show my parents when they ask me when I'm going to make them grandchildren. Then Joe passes an extremely difficult IQ test and is sent to prison. He quickly realizes that prison is not the best place for him, and he comes up with a genius plan to escape it. Simply get out, which works. So good job, I guess. He's smart enough to trick one guard, but then the other guard checks his QR code. Joe hits him with the classic, "Hey, look at that thing over there," and runs away. Pro gamer move. Mr. Not Sure tries to find Rita, so he comes to the only guy he knows in this world, his lawyer Frito. Not Sure tricks Frito into showing him where the time travel machine is. He promises to come back in time in 2005 and buy Bitcoin for Frito. Damn, I would fall for that too. Is this based on Elon Musk's little-known backstory? Joe and Frito pick up Rita from a regular spot. She's more concerned that her boyfriend, Upgrade, will find her. I wish someone would care that much about me as Rita cares for her pimp. You can give me money too if that's what you like, babe. Seriously, please, I'm broke. The car they're driving automatically scans Joe's QR code, finds out he's an inmate, and turns off. That's why I don't buy Tesla. But Frito is dedicated to getting his Bitcoin. They proceed to the time travel machine on foot. The team gets to a local Costco for a shuttle. They realize Costco turned into a mega market the size of San Francisco. You know, this ain't so bad. Maybe we could all afford to be a little dumber. How do I induce a coma again? Finally, the team gets to a shuttle, but Rita decides to hit a bathroom. Not the best time to split. Yep, Joe got his QR code scanned and police took him away while Frito drove away in a shuttle. Perfect timing. Joe gets taken to the White House. Turns out his IQ test showed he's the smartest guy in the world. So the president of the USA immediately makes him his Minister of Interior, whatever that means. There, he meets the Secretary of Energy, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, and the Secretary of Education. This is all based on real events, by the way. Then we meet the president, Dwayne Elizondo Camacho, a 5-time Ultimate SmackDown champion and superstar, who is also Terry Crews with an 80s metal hairdo and a machine gun. He's got my vote. Looking forward to the presidential debate. I'm sure they'll be polite. The House of Representatives gathers up, where Camacho gets blamed for hunger and dust storms. Camacho calms the public down, showing them how democracy works. Then, he promises that Joe will fix the economy, dust storms, dead crops, acne, and car sickness all in 1 week. Ouch, that's a lot of work. If he doesn't deliver, he'll get his cheeks clapped in jail. Some high stakes we got here. Not sure if Joe is smart enough to escape from prison twice. In the White House, ministers demand solutions, so Joe brings up his lawyer Frito. Turns out, Joe doesn't really know how to fix the world's problems yet, so he simply wants to get to the time machine for phase 1. Frito sees money and agrees to help. Joe returns to the office and asks the ministers to bring Rita and come with him to fix dead crops. Ministers don't seem to be very excited, so he throws the lead, follow, or stay out of the way phrase. Works like a charm and they hit the dead crop scene. Joe gets a map to the time travel machine from Frito in the fields. Rita arrives. Apparently, she charged men for some sussy services but didn't offer any. Is this what keeps happening to my medical bill? Joe gets Rita to the bushes to discuss the plan. Rita seems to be tripping about Upgrade still, but Joe calms her down and suggests she has to settle things with her boyfriend. Don't worry, Rita. He's in jail with Officer Collins. The lovely couple returns to the crops and finds out it was watered with Gatorade all the time. Everything in this world runs on a sports drink. It has electrolytes after all. Joe realizes that might be the reason why crops aren't growing. The cabinet doesn't understand why they should use toilet water on crops. After all, Gatorade has electrolytes. After hours of dispute, Joe claimed he talked with the plants and they told him they needed water. I'm starting to realize that Joe is not that average after all. People believed Joe and began watering crops with water. Everyone seemed happy, but how long can they wait for the crops to grow? While waiting for the results, Joe and Rita got to find out more about each other. Rita was thrilled that Joe got her out of prison and believes she owes something to him now. By something, I mean sharing a bed. And Rita's a restless sleeper, if you know what I mean. Well, turns out Joe is not an ex-con. He's also a gentleman. Who'd have guessed? He's also concerned about Upgrade, Rita's boyfriend, and his apparent ability to cast a spell of absolute devotion using only his strong right hand. As a self-declared gentleman of leisure, Joe prefers to use his own, but there are more problems to solve. Joe's plan to stop watering plants with Gatorade caused the world.
Thanks for tuning into Recaps Movies. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the latest movie shorts we're covering. We're always on the lookout for new and exciting films to discuss, so don't be shy. Let us know your favorite movies in the comments below. We love hearing from you, and your suggestions help us create the best content possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.